Hi, everybody. I'm Kara Golden, founder and CEO of Hint, and I am really excited to basically tell everyone why I think BevNet is so critical to this industry. We started Hint 15 years ago, and really BevNet was the first place that I looked when I was trying to get going, from everything from trying to figure out what the names of jobs were, to co-packers, to just other people just going out and doing it. So I think that when I think of the name BevNet and how I describe it to other people, it's really just a resource not only for people who are new to the industry, but people who are in the industry to really figure out A, what's going on, B, where do I go to do something that I want to do or, can't figure out. And finally, and maybe the most important piece of this is really the storytelling around how other people are, going through many of the same challenges that maybe you're going to encounter or have encountered or are encountering, and really showing you that you're not alone. And so thanks you guys at BevNet for doing all of that for all of these years. Hi, everybody.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of BevNet's Elevator Talk Livestream. I'm Ray Latif, the editor and producer of BevNet's Taste Radio podcast, the #1 podcast for the food and beverage industry. As always, with Elevator Talk Livestream, we'll be speaking with entrepreneurs across the country or from across the country about their innovative and disruptive brands and news and new products related to those brands. Joining me as a co-host for this episode is Wes Crain, who's a noted investor and advisor to the food and beverage industry. Wes, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ray. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I wish I could see you in person. Always great catching up in person, but this will do for now.
We'll put up with it.
Okay. I've known you for some time, most notably as an investor of Revive Kombucha, one of the co-founders of not how do you pronounce it? I'm blanking on
Nativas, no, Nativitas, no, Navitas Naturals is how it started. And then, it's kind of the tomato thing. There's some bit different pronunciations, but Navitas Organics.
I was going to say, because this morning when I spoke with you, you said Navitas, and I've always said Navitas.
Navitas, so, yeah.
Yes, Navitas.
Again, I always said, as long as people buy it, tomato or tomato.
That's a really good point there. As long as people spend the money, you can call it whatever you want. All right. As I mentioned, one of the co-founders of Nativas Organics. Tell us a little bit about your background in the food and beverage industry.
Well, first, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here on Elevator Talk, especially during these kind of crazy lockdown times. It's just really fun to be able to share and learn from everybody. So, really thanks to the Nosh BevNet team for putting this on. I got my start in consumer product goods, really in the clothing business, and then I transitioned to organic foods, and as you pointed out, co-founded Navitas Organics. What we did there was it was a superfood company. I like to say we imported foods from every continent around the globe except Antarctica. Included maca from Peru and goji berries from China, cacao products, chia seeds. And I sold that business about 5 years ago, and I started investing and advising in companies that are good for you, good for the planet. I've always believed that kind of food is medicine. I think that's only becoming more and more true these days. So a real focus on kind of regenerative organics, on the oceans and everything. And really excited, like I said, to be here, and let's jump into the brands.
Indeed. Just want to ask you just quickly, in terms of your portfolio, in terms of your investments, I mentioned Revive Kombucha. What are some of the other companies that you're currently invested in or have invested in the past?
So some of the exciting ones are always the new ones. And so there's Hop Tonic Tea, which is doing regenerative botanicals in a sparkling tea. I have just invested in Scout, which is a cool, making canning cool again, sustainable seafood company. Also advising Planet Forward, which is really focused exclusively on using a regenerative supply chain, coming out with some snacks and products. Hopefully soon. Got a little delayed, as has been the experience of some startup brands recently. So,
Well, those sound like pretty exciting brands, and I can't wait to get into them. And it's Moonshot, is it right? Moonshot Snacks.
Moonshot Snacks is what Julia Collins is doing there as the first entry with Planet Forward, which is very exciting. And it's been a interesting road. Just as organics was 15 years ago when we started, and everyone was like, "What's that stuff? It'll never sell. It's more expensive." Kind of regenerative and a lot of the cool packaging that's coming out now is really some of the trends I think consumers want.
I think you showed them on the organics front. Anyone who might have said, "Oh, that's a fad," they're probably eating.
They did used to laugh at us, and we used to have the debates of what's cacao, and they'd be like, "You mean cocoa with all the sugar and stuff?" No, it's just cacao where chocolate comes from.
Indeed, indeed. Well, I am really excited to get started. If folks are just tuning in, you're watching BevNet's Elevator Talk live stream. I'm Ray Latif, joined by Wes Crain, as I mentioned, a noted investor and advisor in the food and beverage industry, and one of the co-founders of Navitas Organics. All right, let's get started. Wes, you ready?
I am.
Okay, our first guest for the show is Amy Rothstein, who's the founder of Dona. Amy, how are you?
Hi, I'm great.
Great to see you. I already mispronounced Wes's company, and I was going to mispronounce the name of your. All this time, I've been calling it Dona, which I'm probably sure you hate when people call it Dona because it's Donna, right?
Tomato, tomato.
Ah.
So it is Donna, like the name, but people do say Dona. I think our brand gives off a fancier vibe. Whatever you feel.
Indeed. Well, Donna, I know you guys are heavily involved in chai and really interesting products, but I'll let you speak for the brand. Tell us a bit about the history of what you do, the history of the brand and what you guys do.
Sure. So I am the co-founder of Dona. We started officially 6 years ago. We launched, my business partner is my brother. So we launched back in 2014 with just a chai concentrate. And the reason we did that was there was a gap in the market. So, New York City had a million coffee shops, and they all wanted to use local products, thoughtfully sourced coffee beans, and every cafe menu had a chai, but no one was making a high quality or less sweet chai concentrate. So since then, I kind of realized from making chai, a million times and learning about these spices, that spices are really cool, and not enough people are doing things with spices, especially in the beverage category. So after the chai concentrate, we came out with a turmeric concentrate for a golden milk latte. And then in the past 2 years, we launched two separate RTD lines. One is a line of spice sodas, and the other is a line of tisanes or herbal teas, all spice-based.
Those spice sodas are no joke. I saw one, what was it? I don't know why it took me so long to see it in the New York City area, but I saw it and I picked it up. I think it was a peppercorn variety, which was pretty darn amazing.
Yeah, I love the packaging on those as well. It's
totally
packaging that you've done, and colors and everything.
Totally. Now, your newest product, which was one of your teammate, one of the folks on your team was kind enough to send me, is your dirty chai product. Tell us a bit about that.
Sure. So the dirty chai concentrate, that is a limited edition. It was with most of our products, the process of launching any one of them is at least a year. I don't know if that is normal. If it's not normal, if that's a long time, you guys please let me know. But so since the pandemic kind of shut down a lot of our coffee shop partners, we've then had the opportunity to focus more on direct to consumer through our website. And I realized that a lot of people were buying more and more of our chai concentrate online because they can't go into a coffee shop and order a chai latte. And dirty chai latte is traditionally in a coffee shop. It's a chai latte with a shot of espresso. So that is something that, again, it's not easy for consumers to make at home. And we had access, because we have so many friends in the industry that are coffee roasters, we had access to super high quality cold brew. We ran a few tests, got super quick approval, and then put the product out there for our customers at home.
Were you doing much direct to consumer kind of before COVID? Was that a big part of the strategy and everything you were doing, or has that been just kind of opportunistic jumping into that?
So before COVID, it made up 2% of our business. So we never really thought that much about it, other than social media for aesthetic and education. Since COVID, we have our online sales have tripled, which has been super exciting. Still not a huge part of our business, but there was nothing for a while, especially there was nothing else to do. Yeah. So it's been a great time to finally have a chance to develop our marketing strategy.
Yeah, it's terrific. I mean, you seem to have a very strong social media presence out there. Where was it typically found in retail, where the concentrates and the RTDs are pretty new, right?
Yes, RTDs are super new. The soda came out last year, and the tisanes were launched in February. So the tisanes we do have distribution in LA and New York for the tisanes. Sodas are a little bit more all over the country. What is interesting about our brand is that we mostly work with independent shops. So coffee shops and grocers. So we don't have we don't have many huge national chains. Our sodas are at Central Market and Cost Plus, and in a few of the Whole Foods locally. Other than that, check out a Third Wave coffee shop and look both behind the coffee bar for our concentrates and then in the beverage cooler for our RTDs.
That's great. I mean, I was seeing that you do, quite a range of both packaging as well as products, including the little spices, just in a dried form. Do you find that it's kind of a similar customer, or do you get really kind of different customers who drink the concentrate or the herbal teas versus the soda kind of thing?
So they all appeal to consumers for different reasons. So for sure, if you're someone who is staying away from sugar, you're not going to pick up our spiced sodas. Although they do have less sugar than normal sodas, they're very much a sweet drink. And same goes for a chai latte drinker isn't always a soda drinker. Where there's overlap is the type of wholesale account that is looking to carry all of our products. So those types of accounts typically have customers who want to pay more attention to quality of ingredients, the story behind the brand, where the ingredients come from, and how they're made. And then the last thing they care about are the flavors. They're looking for something bold and new.
Amy, we've only got about a minute left, but I'd love to just pick your brain in terms of what you see Donna as being in terms of, you know, a brand that people recognize. You know, if you can boil it down, what does Donna stand for? What do you guys mean when it comes to the beverage? When it comes to beverages?
Sure. So this is a good question, and it's been a weird journey because we did start as not Donna, but Donna Chai, thinking that we would just do chai. Now, our secret project is a rebrand, and so we're going to make a more cohesive, more cohesive line of products, and the common theme is that we're an herbal beverage company.
Well, that secret project is not so secret anymore, but I guess what work we will be seeing visually will be kind of secret until you're ready to spill the beans. When will that be?
We most likely will be launching it gradually. So I would say look out for it starting in about a month and a half.
Fantastic. Well, in the meantime, I'll be enjoying the Dirty Chai product that you guys sent. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for being with us on BevNet's Elevator Talk live stream. Please stay in touch. And if you need anything, let us know.
Thank you so much.
All right. Fantastic stuff. Wes, you've tried the sodas, you said?
I haven't tried the sodas. I just really appreciated the packaging and liked what she was saying about getting a more cohesive, because it certainly could be one company, but it could also be three different companies as well. So that's, I think, a great evolution where you're going with it. So good luck.
Sure. Fantastic. All right. Good stuff. All right. Let's move on to our next guests for this episode of BevNet's Elevator Talk live stream. That's Jay and Asha Forswani, who are the co-founders of AshaPops.
Hey guys, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us privilege.
Thank you so much for being with us. You know, I'm not familiar with AshaPops, but I am familiar with the product. Could you tell us a bit about the brand and what you guys sell?
Yeah, absolutely. So AshaPops was founded by my mom, Asha, and I about 3 years ago in the farmers markets here in Los Angeles. My mom started eating these water lily seeds again because she was having trouble sleeping at night. She grew up eating these lily seeds. This was her popcorn, if you will, growing up as a kid in India. And she started eating them again for the magnesium. She made me try it out. I was a fan. My friends loved them. So we started in the farmers markets 3 years ago. The response was amazing to the product, but more importantly, in my opinion, people were really connecting with my mom, and my mom was also having a great time. We launched in stores about 2.5 years ago, and since then it's been quite the journey. Specifically on the seeds, they're seeds of an Indian water lily flower. They taste just like popcorn without the corn. It's sort of an allergen-free, better for you snacking alternative to sort of your chips or popcorn, if you will. It's a superfood because it's low in calories, so 100 calories in the entire bag. It's got 5 grams of plant protein, and it's got magnesium and antioxidants. Since we launched 2.5 years ago, we're now in stores like Whole Foods, Air One. We're in gyms like Equinox gyms. We are in cafes. We are in hotels, and we are in schools like UCLA. So it's been quite the ride, and I feel blessed to be able to do this with the mother.
That is an amazing thing when family can work together. It's tough, I'm sure, but it's a beautiful thing when it does work out. You know, Wes, I've seen, I don't know, probably like 7 popped water lily seed brands, you know, come to market in the last, say, 18 months. Have you seen something similar? I mean, what are your thoughts on AshaPops?
I have seen, a little bit of it popping up, so to speak. And, but I think, really love your guys' packaging. It's just really clear, and you communicate both flavor. You've got the good picture on there to really get into it. And, I like to say that kind of a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And so it's kind of nice to have those competitors. I think you got to, figure out on flavor and things how, you differentiate and everything. One of the things I was kind of on that superfood and just the education with the consumer, how has that been going? Clearly you're getting some great success in retail, but how is the consumer, how much explaining are you having to do? How's that going?
Yeah, and to your earlier point, right? Education, takes time, and so we're grateful to all the players and who are bringing these water lily seeds, because it's a group effort in that sense. So we're grateful to them for helping us with this cause. With regards to spreading the word, we've been grateful to all our initial customers. I think the farmers markets were the best thing we ever did. We got our early adopters, our true fans, who really helped us spread the word. Instagram was instrumental for that. So we had a lot of our customers just like post about us on Instagram, right? So that spread. Then we launched an Air One, which is sort of a local chain of independent stores, which was just absolutely fantastic for us because, again, we had some really amazing early fans who would just talk about us, spread the word. In fact, we're so grateful for some of them. There was one person specifically who definitely is an angel for us. She would literally buy our bags and go to different independent stores to say, you guys need to get this product in, without even telling us, right? We would find out after the fact that, oh my God, there's this lady who keeps coming and telling us we should get this. So we were like, fine, we'll try it out. And so honestly, it's been the blessing of the Lord, of course, but his angels that he has sent, and it's our AshaPops fam. So we are bootstrapped, so a lot of it has been word of mouth, grassroots, doing events locally here in SoCal, and demoing a lot initially pre-COVID to help spread the word and sort of get people to try it out.
Yeah, it's great to have dedicated fans and influencers. That's definitely taken it up a notch to have them as salespeople too. So that's great. So where do you kind of see it going? Is there some innovation to be able to differentiate? It's because as Ray was saying, there's a bunch of people doing the pop kind of thing. There way to make some crackers, or is it new flavors? How are you going to kind of keep this train rolling?
Yeah, so when I think of a brand, I think of it as taste, function, and story, right? And I feel like my mom has done an amazing job of nailing the taste with our existing flavors, but we continually iterate on these flavors. So we're actually looking to come up with a new one this fall based on customer feedback. Functionally, the seed itself is neutrally dense, so that's something the Lord has given us. So praise the Lord for that. And then lastly, the story piece, and I think that's what's most compelling about us is Asha, right? We're all going back to our roots. We're all going back to ancient wisdom. And my mom is sort of the personification of that, right? People ask me, like, how do you split up the work between the two of you? I said, I'm the CEO, I'm the chief executive officer. She's the CEO as well. She's the chief energy officer, right? And so what people are attracted to and what our fam loves about Asha is just her healing energy. And so our vision is to sort of bring that healing energy to more people. The vision for Asha Pops is not to be just a pop water lily seeds brand. Our vision is to sort of be an Ayurvedic brand that brings Ayurvedic products that Mom Asha grew up eating. Every day she has a lot of ideas, and my thing has been, let's focus on one because there's only so many hours in a day and we're bootstrapping this. But she has a lot of ideas, and our goal is to sort of expand that platform out. To answer your question about what separates us from our direct competitors, besides the energy aspect of it, is the fact that for the seeds itself, they come in different qualities. We use the premium hand-picked larger size, which the farmers actually manually hand-pick out of the ponds. So definitely a more premium variety of that. We hand-make them with love, as we like to think, here in Los Angeles. So it's all made in the USA, in Los Angeles, not made industrially or outside of the US. In terms of we're non-GMO project verified, we're all vegan, all paleo, right? So it's not like a few flavors are vegan, a few are not. It's an all plant-based company. And then lastly, again, it's the Asha difference. For us, even our team that we get together, the energy needs to be right. And while tangibly I can't point a finger on that, the greatest compliment for us is when we're demoing and customers come up and tell us that we feel good energy after we eat these seeds and we eat Asha Pops. And for us, that's the ultimate compliment. That's something that's a true differentiator.
Yeah, it's the Ayurvedic special sauce, I guess, and I'm definitely seeing that as a trend. And I think it's there's been a lot of different cultural foods coming out, and certainly Indian food isn't new here, but really getting into other categories and snack foods and even RTD beverages. I've seen some of that. So it is a great time, and I think you're right on trend for that. So congratulations.
Thank you. Mom, would you like to add anything?
No, I only, in two lines I would say is that please, no food, all preservatives and all should be avoided. Right? And your emotion, that energy definitely passes through with what energy you make the product. And I have, since we are now in this, I know it conveys our energy conveys. So it should be with love, emotion, and treat them like your extended family, not like just customer that they pay and you get. Not that. Relationship is not right in the food industry, at least, and it should be local. That is for sure.
Words to live by.
Asha, everyone needs a mom like you. Our industry needs a mom like you. So well spoken. You're gonna make me cry. So I'll let you guys go now. So thank you so much for joining us
Thank you so much.
on the live stream today. Good luck with everything going forward, and please stay in touch.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
All
you.
right. Wow,
Cheers.
that's when you can literally feel the love and passion for a brand, for food, for our industry, that's when you know you have a hit, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
it's amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always great to meet new entrepreneurs on this show. And, Wes, as an entrepreneur yourself, it's always fun talking to the ones who, have quote unquote made it. And you being in the San Francisco area, I'm sure you're familiar with Kara Golden from Hintwater, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Kara filmed a really nice testimonial for us about why folks should subscribe to BevNet and Nosh. And we're going to play it right now for folks to watch.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kara Golden, founder and CEO of. I'm really, really excited to basically tell everyone why I think BevNet is so critical to this industry. We started Hint 15 years ago, and really BevNet was the first place that I looked when I was trying to get going, from everything from, trying to figure out what the names of jobs were, to co-packers, to just other people just going out and doing it. So I think that when I think of the name BevNet and how I describe it to other people, it's really just a resource not only for people who are new to the industry, but people who are in the industry to really figure out A, what's going on, B, where do I go to do something that I want to do or, can't figure out. And finally, and maybe the most important piece of this, is really the storytelling around how other people are, going through many of the same challenges that maybe you're going to encounter or have encountered or are encountering, and really showing you that you're not alone. And so thanks you guys at BevNet for doing all of that for all of these years. Hi, everybody. I'm Kara Golden.
I love Kara Golden. I've met her on many occasions. We've had her on the podcast a couple of times. Talk about someone who just has persevered and made it in a really tough category. But Hintwater, one of the great examples of a winning brand and a winning entrepreneur behind that brand. As Kara mentioned, subscribing to BevNet is pretty easy. Let's go to the upper right-hand corner of BevNET.com or Nosh.com. Look for that subscribe button. You'll be a subscriber in less than 3 minutes. All right, back to our program. If you're just tuning in, this is BevNet's Elevator Talk live stream. I'm Ray Latif, joined by Wes Crain. We're going to get to our next. That?
Go ahead.
We're going to get to our next.
Get excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I'm really excited to hear from Keenan Smith, who is the founder and CEO of Good Wolf Water Kefir. Keenan, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. All right. We've got a debate, and it's a debate that I'm pretty sure you're familiar with.
Kefir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tomato.
Oh, again,
Absolutely.
yes. This is going to continue.
It's going around.
It's a running gag, yeah.
But
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, what is it? I mean, how do you pronounce it?
My understanding is that it is a Turkish word for good feeling. So I believe it is kefir, but kefir, because I grew up on Lost Boys and Kiefer Sutherland, so I'm really fond of that, Santa Carla and the whole deal. So I like kefir. Good Wolf Water Kefir.
Wow, that is the first
Officially.
Lost Boys reference we've had on the show, and I love it.
It won't be
Well
the
done.
last when I'm back. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You grew up on Lost Boys. Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Is that why you named the product Good Wolf? Or they're vampires, they're not werewolves.
Right. And they're bad vampires.
They're bad vampires.
Yeah.
All right, Goodwill. No, where did the name come from? And
Good
why
Wolf.
did you decide to launch a water keeper?
Yeah. So the name. So I was on a run back in 2012, and I was listening to a podcast, and someone was telling this popular legend, this tale of this popular legend, sometimes attributed to the Cherokee people. But it's about the two wolves that are in each person fighting. There's a good wolf and a bad wolf. The good wolf represents love, compassion, making healthy choices. The bad wolf represents, fear, anger, bad food choices, let's say. And the one that survives is the one you feed. And so our company is Good Wolf Feeding Company. And our flagship product is Good Wolf Water Kefir. And we did water kefir because I was a broker in the natural food world. I actually knew Wes from years ago.
Navitas for many years. Absolutely.
And I was the broker for Revive Kombucha. So, I represented a lot of brands. I got two daughters. My family, we were drinking a lot of kombucha. Then we kind of switched to sparkling water, drinking a ton of LaCroix. Didn't have any functionality to it. So we started making water kefir in the kitchen. I know it's one of those started making granola in the kitchen and friends loved it, that story, but it's a real story. So we started making it, and we loved how it was kind of lighter, like a bridge between kombucha and sparkling water. And in 2016, we brought it to market, just really small while I was still a broker for other brands working for Yin Yang Naturals. And we started with 2 flavors. And about a year ago, I went all in, left my day job.
Very
That's
cool. And, I encourage folks to check out the Drink Good Wolf website or drinkgoodwolf.com. I just love it how it pops. It's like it's there. It's just like every color in the rainbow, and it's just like it draws your attention really, really quickly. Along the same lines, how do you draw the attention of a consumer who's not familiar with your product, who's not familiar with water kefir, because it's not the most, I guess, intuitive thing, right?
Right. Yeah. So a few ways. So the first way, back to the packaging, the website is colorful, but we intentionally made the background of everything we do is black, and it sounds counterintuitive, but when you're looking at a set, and of course, coming from almost 2 decades in the industry, seeing these sets and everything's kind of really white, real kind of like new age, spiritual, these sort of Hindu vector graphics on kind of everything. We wanted to deviate from that, so we went black. Now when you're looking at a set, and I'm getting into merchandising lingo here, but when you're looking at a set, you see all this colorful stuff, and then you see a block, and it's almost like when you're reading a magazine or a book and there's a gutter, where the words there's a gutter, so it creates a gutter in the eye, and like a visual break, and it draws the eye to that point. Oh, what is that? I see all this colorful stuff, and then I see this little thing down here. And so that's kind of that's the first way. So, most sales are going to happen at shelf. So we want to convert potential kombucha or competitor customers at the shelf. So that's the way we get them there, right? Then branding, we wanted to be more of a challenger brand. Sometimes our Instagram stuff, I've definitely been asked by some brand partners and some, my wife, to take some posts down that cross. I'm always trying to figure out where the line is, like should we incorporate anything having to do with Epstein into the marketing or not? Are we crossing a line? Can we talk about Clinton? Can we talk, right? I mean, already, look at this. We're all uncomfortable in this situation, but guess what? It's going to be sticky. Tomorrow, what are they going to talk about? Who's that one guy that said Jeffrey Epstein on the thing, right? So this has kind of been our thing. Challenger brand. Don't be afraid to just be kind of this punk rock ethic. And that extends to, how we run things, just this real DIY ethic. And other than that, prior to COVID, a lot of tastings, a lot of demos. I mean, our best IP is the flavor, for sure. So we got these great recipes using 100% certified organic ingredients. It's a good product. So that's
where I'd like to jump in, because I definitely appreciate that unique look of both the website as well as the packaging. I think it really, it's very you, and it's very unique to.
It is a little too much.
No, you got to own it, right? If you don't own it, like who is going to do it then?
Right.
But that's where I wanted to go with is, some of the flavors, because when I was looking at your site, looks like you have a couple of new ones, including
Yes.
kind of a spicier
Mhm.
one. You've thrown in some bubbles and everything. So how have those been going for you?
Going well. So the new flavor is a habanero fire, and as far as I can tell, no one else is doing a habanero. There's a lot of cayenne cleanse, kind of like a master cleanse brew. But we got some good organic habanero, added some cayenne. It's got organic cold pressed ginger, organic cold pressed lemon. It's really good. Sorry about that. And then we also are doing a seasonal SKU. Where we're partnering with a couple of local artists, and these will be rotating. The flavor right now is called a Laura Palmer, similar to an Arnold Palmer, but this is Laura because it's a Tulsi Rose tea with the cold pressed lemon juice, making a lemonade. It's a really nice. It's a good. We tried it out at Stumptown coffee shops on tap before we launched it, and it got great reviews. And so, yeah, and it's the only one that doesn't have a black label. I think we might go with that, like a more colorful label on the one seasonal SKU as they rotate.
That's great. Sounds wonderfully unique.
Clearly, we're children of the 80s and 90s if we're talking about the Lost Boys and Laura Palmer. Anyone who's a Twin Peaks fan will get that reference for sure.
Yeah, it's all very nuanced.
Keenan, for someone who's had a lot of experience in this industry, 20 years, worked with Green Spoon, worked with Revive, Yin Yang, worked with Revive. I'm curious, what's it been like being an entrepreneur? What's it been like being on the other side? And what do you need most as an entrepreneur, especially during these times?
Just that cold hard cash, Mr. Ray. That's what we all need. So I think realizing how much capital it takes, just to play the games, right? At retail with the distributors. I mean, I knew some, but I was kind of into spending other people's money when I was doing promo planning and meeting with buyers. Yeah, we'll do 4 BOGOs every year, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden it's coming out of my pocket. I'm like, wait a second, right? We got to think this through. So so just we just did a micro ventures crowd note capital raise, and just realizing how much money it's taken to get it going. But again, being so scrappy, this DIY ethic, we've gone a really long way with very little. And so that's that's the course we're going to take, and I think that's why we're going to survive in the COVID world as well, because we're very lean.
Yeah, the new normal, I think, is you got to learn how to make money and not just be good at raising money. Right?
That's right. And, yes.
There's a good fundamental business, in that, and definitely have watched and appreciated your expansion and distribution, even with limited resources. You keep pushing out the territory and everything, and that's terrific.
Yeah. Well, you've also gotten plenty of my emails begging for money, Wes. So.
I know. It's really that, that waterkeeper category. I mean, even, one of the industry leaders like Kavita doesn't really highlight it. It's a hard category to get in and get the consumer to really appreciate it and understand it. How has that been going?
It's going good. I think when GT Dave's launched the Aqua Kefir, and I didn't actually know where they got the name from. I should know everything in and out, but we're always learning. There's always something to learn. But it turns out there's a probiotic strain that is unique to water kefir called Aqua Kefiri, and it's a specific probiotic strain that they've only located in water kefir. So I assume that's where he got the name. I was doing some research on it, so I was stoked to hear about that. But I think having, the number one leader like GT Dave's, have a line extension that is water kefir. And then, as we tell people, the number 2 kombucha, so to speak, and Spence data is Kavita, which is water kefir. Let me show you the back of the bottle. The first ingredient's water kefir. So I think it's easier to tell that story once you connect those dots. But to that point, and to the COVID point, our new line extensions that we're working on, we're really trying to mitigate, even though we've had a lot of success, like in the retail expansion, as you said, getting into KeHE, getting into UNFI, all of that. We are looking at some D2C plays. So we are looking at some shelf stable items that are non-water kefir related. Thankfully, we have the Good Wolf Feeding Company umbrella that allows us to kind of look at other healthy living, healthy eating, healthy supplementing items that can go direct to customer, some of those with really nice margins and all. So stay tuned. Some cool stuff coming up.
Looking forward to it for sure. Can't wait to try that habanero fire as well, and the Laura Palmer. Both sound pretty amazing. Keenan, thank you so much for joining us on the live stream today. Good luck with everything going forward, and I hope to catch up with you in person soon.
Thanks so much. See you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Now, Wes, Keenan has your email address. I'm not going to ask you to give out your email address, but what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Best way is really just through LinkedIn. Messaging that, just Wes Crain, Crain, on LinkedIn, and you'll find me pretty easily. So
are you pretty active on LinkedIn?
Yes, I check it out and definitely when people message me, I will respond. I'm pretty good about that.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that I'm on LinkedIn a lot more than I had been, say, before March. I was always active on LinkedIn, but much more so now.
Absolutely. And a lot less Zoom. It definitely would be rather in Santa Monica at one of your live events. But again, this is awesome. And we'll, we all adjust and pivot in business, and all of it. So
full steam ahead for sure. All right, let's move on to our next guest for this episode of BevNET's Elevator Talk live stream. That's Gavin Murphy, who's the founder and owner of Sunday Provisions. Gavin, how are you?
Great. Good afternoon. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks so much for your listenership of Taste Radio. I know you're a fan.
I love it. And can I just say, you're looking very dapper today. It looks like a new jacket. I'm just guessing. Looking very spiffy.
I appreciate you saying that, Gavin, because it is a new jacket. And for lawyer viewers of the show, I don't know if you can see it. There's a little plaid going on here. It's very faint. But
well, I can see the tag on the side. You want to take that off, maybe?
Oh, no.
Before you return it.
I really did take the tag off this morning.
I know. I'm joking. Anyway, it's fantastic to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. Sunday Provisions.
Yes, sir.
Great name. Where does it come from and what do you guys do?
So Sunday Provisions, let me just give you a little bit of a backstory. I'm Irish, which you may have guessed. And growing up in Ireland, and not dissimilar to other cultures, Sunday dinner was a big deal for us, sitting around the table with the family, talking before cell phones. I'm aging myself slightly, but that was a very big deal for us. So I'm a chef by trade. I've been in the cooking, in the food world for almost 30 years. So when I came up with Sunday Provisions, or rather when I came up with the line of Pecan butters, which we have, I wanted something that connected my heritage to it, but didn't want to necessarily make it Irish, if you will, but something that was important to me. Family is very important to me. So the way I landed on our Pecan butters was I've worked as a personal chef for a long time in Los Angeles. And I've worked a lot on the health and fitness space, working with trainers and nutritionists. I was working for some clients in LA who I was doing all of their food. They wanted some healthy snacks, but didn't eat almonds or peanuts. So, and this is hand to heart, I was in Whole Foods. I saw a bag of pecans. I know the health benefits. The flavor profile is fantastic. And I made a pecan butter. It's as simple as that. From there, I was just making it for my clients, making it for us at home and such. And then I started looking around the store because I spent a lot of times in the stores, and realized there was nobody really doing anything with pecans. It's almost a seasonal ingredient, if you will, very much connected to the holidays. So I really just made a product. I never set out to make a product. I set out to make good food. Something on our website that you will see, we have a tag on there. If we wouldn't feed it to our families, we wouldn't feed it to yours. It's very important to me. So in terms of the ingredients that we've used, my wife and I sourced all of the ingredients. We sourced the pecans to a farm in Texas. We sourced the maple syrup, salt. Just speaking to your point, Wes, you were talking about cacao. In our chocolate flavor, we have raw unsweetened cacao. Cinnamon is another flavor I have. And then we have a coffee flavor. It's just something that's very, it's pure, it's clean, it's transparent to the consumer, and it's something that I eat. So that's where we came from.
That sounds awesome. Fun fact, I lived in Cork, Ireland for a year, went to University College Cork for my junior year in college. Loved it, loved the food, loved the music, loved the beer. One of the things I was seeing, when you have terrific images on your social media and everything. At first I was like, oh, another butter, but then you see those images, and it just made me want to eat your pecans and everything. And so I
Thank
was,
you.
you had mentioned, kind of the times and how it's kind of seasonal.
Yes.
Where are you finding the use occasions? How are people using it, and how are you broadening that seasonal kind of pecan pie Thanksgiving thing?
Well, it's interesting. So we're in a number of small sort of independent retailers, but our biggest retailer would be Air One, because I was living in Los Angeles. I was able to get it in Air One, and I was able to support the product by doing a lot of demos. So it's interesting. One of the biggest questions I got when I was do demos is, how do you eat it? Which seems very basic question, because people, associate nut butters with peanut or almonds. So that was the first part of it, was to show them. So with our social and on our website, I've started to use the product and incorporate it into recipes to show that it's more diverse. To be honest with you, Wes, I really see this as almost a new category, even though it falls into the nut butter category, of course, because it's going to be put on that shelf space. It's way more diverse than that, and that's why that's why I create recipes with it, because of my culinary background. I play around. I baked with it. I've made ice cream. I've made cookies. I've made savory dishes. I've made marinades. I've made a whole feast of different foods with it, using it as an ingredient, just to show how diverse it is. So through connecting with our community, sending out newsletters, sending out recipes, I'm sort of guiding our community, if you will, to show that it's more diverse than just putting it on on a rice cake.
Yeah, absolutely. And you nailed it. Like, again,
Thank
my
you.
mouth was salivating when I was seeing the pictures and everything. And, just was inspired by the different, uses and things. Kind of,
Sure.
what do you think, is next? Is this it? And, you're just going
This is
to,
never it, Wes. This is never it. There's always a bigger picture. Having worked a lot, as I said, in the health and fitness space, eating clean ingredients is very important to me. Sourcing the ingredients is important to me. So what I really want to do is expand. These are my babies, and I have a lot of other flavors that we haven't brought out yet. In fact, now that I know you've been in Ireland, I made an Irish whiskey flavor, pecan butter,
good.
which,
Yeah.
let me tell you, was like crazy good. In fact, you need to send me your address. I'm going to send you some butters tomorrow, because I need you
as
to.
we speak.
Okay, actually, I have it here. But I've tested all these different, sort of flavor profiles. Again, not to sort of, fall into the category of just it's sort of one dimensional. It's more than that. But I want to expand into other healthy products. Something we used to heard the term healthy decadence, because when you taste it, it has a little sweetness to it because we have maple syrup in it. Just a small amount. I mean, in our signature pecan smash, it's only 4 grams of sugar. So it's only got 3 ingredients. So, it needed a bit of sweetness to it to sort of bite through that sort of bitter aftertaste a little bit. But I want to kind of expand upon that. I mean, we're quite happy, on our little journey right now. We've been on this journey for about 3.5 years. It's my wife and I primarily, completely bootstrapped it. But just going full circle with how I created the product from shopping in Whole Foods. We just got into Whole Foods local here. I think it's it's on the shelf today. So we're just sort of staying the course. I mean, a lot of people, as you're probably well aware, are all about taking in funding and expanding and go straight into co-manufacturing. And I want to be in KeHE and I want to be in Whole Foods. But I'm playing the long game. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm in it because I'm passionate about it. You may be able to tell the way I'm leaning into the camera. Yeah. I get very sort of animated. My wife said, don't put your hands up because I won't even see your face. You'll be all over the place. But I get very, listen, I'm in it. I love the journey. I'm passionate about it. My family is in it. It's a family product because it stems from my heritage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely keep that going and keep, again, I like to say, and I'll say it again, just, get good at making money, get good at getting customers.
Yes.
And leave, if you can run a good, profitable business, you can do that for as long a time and you can do what you want. Have you done much with direct to consumer during this time?
That is our primary business. So we started off direct to consumer. Now, I went into retail local, as I said, in LA, because I was there, I could manage it. but we actually found that we're getting a lot. We're about 80% direct to consumer, but we have about 35 retailers, a lot of independent retailers throughout the country, a lot on the East Coast. And we've been very fortunate, I'll be honest with you, with some sort of write-ups that we got. The New York Times gave us a write-up in the food section. The Boston Globe Ray threw us out a write-up about a month ago, and Massachusetts came up large for us, which was fantastic. And I'll be honest, guys, it's really humbling that people, especially now, would fork over their hard-earned money. There's a lot of people suffering right now, and I'm very, very cognizant of that. I'm very grateful that people are ordering our product. Do you know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, there's priorities out there.
When you make an amazing product, when you make a really great product that tastes good and is good for you, isn't that the winning recipe?
I mean, I hope so, but you're still humbled by it, and you still are very grateful that people would, go on your website and order your product when they have bills to pay and when people have a lot of uncertainty right now. The biggest thing, fellas, that I've done right now over the past couple of months is, I'll be honest, I've tried not to push my product on our community. I've sent out newsletters and I'll be honest, just kind of being myself, just being authentic, checking in with people. I check with my retailers, I'll call them. Hey, how's it going? And I'm not really looking for an order. I mean, if I get one, of course, it's a bonus. But I'm doing it because I give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Because I care that people are going through stuff right now, because we're all going through it. So I think people have appreciated that I'm just being authentic. I'm being myself. And they've responded, which has been amazing, because it's kept our company going and our sales are up. And it's just, listen, it's fun, man.
Everybody can use a little healthy decadence. So even now, or even more so now.
Probably more so now. Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Gavin,
Yes,
you are fantastic. I love your passion. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And please send Wes some product. Wes,
you're
gonna fall over when you taste that first.
In fact,
it's fantastic.
You guys probably need a top up over there, Ray. I'm sure that cupboard is looking kind of bare right now.
I won't say no, especially to some Sunday provisions. Gavin,
and if you'll indulge me for 1 second, I just want to say thank you to Nosh and to BevNet for sort of giving a platform to people like me and people who, who've been on today, just to tell our story, connect with potential new customers, but really just to speak to the masses, if you will. So I appreciate you guys taking the time and creating this for us. So thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And, we wouldn't be anything without the entrepreneurs that actually make the products and drive our industry forward. So thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you, sir.
And let's catch up again really soon.
Yes, please. Thanks, Ray. Wes, send me your address.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Great stuff. Sunday provision. Wes, you're really going to enjoy the products for sure.
Looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. On to our final guest of the live stream. That's Agung Wimbo Presteo. I know I probably pronounced that incorrectly, but he's the founder of Good Vibes Society. Agung, how are you?
I'm great. First of all, I just want to say that I'm grateful to be here, because for the past 4 years, I've been listening to you guys, and you guys truly helped me to get where I'm at right now. No joke. And it's been a humbling journey.
That it really means so much when I hear that. I don't think I can ever hear that enough, because it is the reason why we do what we do. Like if we weren't helping people, if we weren't trying to really give entrepreneurs everything that we've got, then what's the point of doing it? And it to me, it's really humbling to hear that. So thank you so much for saying it.
I appreciate you guys.
Good Vibes Society. And we've got these names, this entire show, we've had the best brand names. I love them all. But what is Good Vibes Society? What do you guys do?
So Good Vibes Society, when I started Good Vibes Society, it was from a charity. And I used to just brew cold brew coffee, and I give 100% to homeless in Los Angeles. And also once a year, we go to Mexico and give out to the orphanage. And that was in 2016, and then it took me 2 years after that. People just loving the product so much, and my background is a graphic designer. I design clothes, and I did that for almost 10 years. And every day I would consume cold brew coffee, and kombucha. So I had this thought. It was like, why don't I just make my own? And so I figure out. I literally I've saved $5,000. And in my head, it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy how many bottles? It was 600 bottles. I got myself a commercial kitchen, shared, and get all the license and everything. And I was like, man, that's $12,000 not going anywhere. And I bought 600 bottles and I sold it in less than a month, right? And just go, door to door. And after that happened, my ego got me, and I ordered one pallet, and it just from that point just tanked. And it took me like 4.5 months to get rid of all the pallets. And then I it's more like a reflection of myself. And the Good Bad Society actually comes through. It's actually an elephant. It's a G. It's basically every time I'm lost, every time I'm in an obstacle, I would call out Lord Ganesh. And I'm really deep into spiritual. And after that happened, it just connect me to Ganesh so much. And the whole G, and I just want to give good vibe to people. And after that happened, I had to trademark the name because people just come at me. They're like, oh, this is my name and everything. So I had to do the whole trademark. And after that, basically, I had this idea infusing cold brew coffee with superfoods. So I would put ashwagandha roots, moringa leaf, monk fruit, and some of them. I literally have a product where it's coffee and juice at the same time. So I use a cold pressed juice like beet apple, ginger, lemon, and I basically use that to brew the coffee. And people was confused. Am I drinking coffee or am I drinking juice? And then I have another one. And then when I started making oat milk, I love oat milk so much. And when I make that, I had to go through getting my plant code and everything. Since I make my own, get into CDFA, get it approved and everything. After that, I released Kindness, which is basically just oat milk with the vanilla, monk fruit, and people just love it so much. Even I was in a pop-up, and representative from Oatly came to me and was like, man, this is really good. Like your branding, I love your branding, your message and everything. So the whole message about my branding is each of the drinks, they have a different affirmation. You want kindness, mindfulness, be humble. So my first idea was to infuse this into people's everyday lives so they could use this word to remind them how grateful life is. So, but before that, I can't talk like that. So, I just keep making my product, and I do a lot of pop-up. First pop-up ever was in San Diego. It was for a cold brew festival, and I love people in San Diego. They're so niche, like so many microbrewery, and they love my product. And then after that, I launched in Los Angeles, just a pop-up, everything just a pop-up. And every Sunday I would go to a farmer's market or another pop-up, just keep doing that. And then all of a sudden, Whole Foods reach out and they love my product. And at that point, I was scrambling around. I was like, this is amazing. Like I was manifesting all this to be at Whole Foods. Every Sunday, I would just go into Whole Foods, open the fridge. I was like, my product is here. My product is here. I keep telling myself that. And then I got an email from Whole Foods, and they're like, yeah, I love your product. And at that point was literally, I was about to get my own kitchen. And so once they require, me to get my own kitchen, and I approached them, and they love the product, and then the whole pandemic hits, and it's been a humbling journey because I was stuck. I didn't know what to do with my brand. I didn't know what to do with my life. Basically, I was depressed for a moment, and I have to reflect everything towards myself. I chose this life myself. You know what? I'm gonna adapt this. So I literally had this idea. I was like, why don't you just tell your family, your friend, Instagram, tell them that you do deliveries. So the moment I just tell them, hey, I do deliveries, one case for $60, I'll do LA, OC, and San Diego. My goodness, from March until now, I sold more than almost 5,000 bottles by myself. I'm still by myself. I'm just, literally, I got an order, make it and then just deliver. Now people are starting getting to know my product, and I realized it was you know, it's about being authentic, right? Being authentic, being myself, and basically for how are you going to help also the world? Because I my message from all the ingredient, I just want from direct consumer, from the direct farmers. So my since I'm Indonesian, I go to Indonesia a lot, and I would go to the coffee plantation, and so I just want to showcase that more. So I want to buy it from direct. So
But Gung, can I ask you a quick question?
yes,
So, in terms of your retail strategy at this point, are you still looking to get into retail, or is, direct to consumer kind of where your brand is and where you see it going forward for the next year or so?
yes. Oh, right now, is to be honest, it's more direct consumer. I just go straight. The whole doorstep delivery has been working, but at the same time, now I am in the middle of also pitching it to Erewhon, going back to Whole Foods again, and then picking which one is the right distribution for me. But yeah, it's all about learning. I literally, I'm humbled by the experience, and it's literally I have to
Just letting the good times roll.
Yes,
Good
that's
roll.
what it is, and yeah, it is what I've been trying to just tell myself was like, look, you have enough to do whatever it takes. You have all the weapon, everything is in your mind. So,
well, and you've got that crazy purple color of the one ingredient. I mean, your social, it just pops out. It's like, wow, that's just like really cool color and everything. And actually, even just going back a second, I just got a shout out to that logo that you designed with the elephant and the G. It's fantastic. It's a great,
thank you so much.
A great logo. And now I know why. You put a lot of love and attention into it, and it means a lot to you. But it really does communicate a lot. And again, I think it's an outstanding logo.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I mean, your passion comes through so strongly. Like I can feel you coming through the screen. It's so infectious and wonderful to see. That's one part of success. Clearly, the entrepreneurs that we've talked to on Taste Radio, the passion has to be there, or why are you doing it? But then the business elements of it, sound business elements are so important. And if you're going direct to consumer, Wes, I'm curious, what are some pointers, what are some tips that you might have for Gung in terms of how to grow from what he's already created, the foundation that he's created for a direct to consumer business? How do you grow it from here?
I think it's one of my questions was, whether you get it shelf stable, because certainly, refrigerated products are just hard to do direct to consumer, right? Or you end up with a lot of bad packaging. So I would almost really just encourage, with that passion is to really take that direct to consumer, take those learning from the customers, and really venture capital that yourself into a retail presence. Because you can, just the color of your products, your original line, I kind of had written down, it's like coffee with benefits, and who doesn't love coffee with benefits? So, I take some of those successes, take some of that passion. It's great doing the pop-ups. It's great going direct to consumer, but really where products are bought and sold is in those grocery stores, and certainly down Southern California. There's just a ton of really awesome natural food specialty stores that would love to differentiate with something as unique as your product. So again, take those learnings, but really focus some time and energy, particularly if you it needs to be refrigerated. It'd be my feedback.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent advice, and I wish we had more time. Unfortunately, we are out of time. But I'd love to stay in touch and follow your journey, because it sounds like it's an amazing one. And
I would love to send you guys some samples.
Absolutely, yes. Like Wes was saying, everything looks and pops. It is a really beautiful line you've created. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream today. Please let us know if you need anything, and thank you so much for continuing to listen to Taste Radio.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Fantastic stuff. Wes, I know you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and we had a really great group today. I've asked our co-hosts this in the past, based on what you saw today, what's the one or two things that you think everyone has got a good grasp on, is really understanding what it takes to be successful in this industry? And what do you think is the one or two things that they really need help with and really need to focus on if they are to continue on their journeys?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. What I was really impressed with was just the ingredients and the focus on ingredients and the traceability and the uniqueness and even the unique combination. Again, chai and coffee, and what Good Vibes was doing with it, or even taking the humble pecan and elevating it, and or putting hot. I could go on, but the hot into the water keeper. There's just a lot of really interesting innovation, and that's just super excited to see. And I think it really differentiates, from the flavors and things out there. Why not a water lily seed when instead of popcorn? So you get both those health benefits and everything. And I think, on the other side, the passion is great and all of that, but what keeps you in business over the long term is really margin, right? And how you produce it, having a streamlined production, your packaging and all of those elements, and really figuring out that how you get it into the marketplace, and finding your customers and really growing that. And I think small companies, limited resources, or just kind of starting in the journey, that's the part that you got to find those partners, and recognize in yourself what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And I think we saw a lot of great passion, a lot of great ingredients, and then you got to really find those channels of distribution and somebody to help with the numbers and make money on the products and things. So.
Well, if you make money on the products, investors will like to see that and will eventually want to invest in your brand. I'm going to put you on the spot, kind of. I want to ask you to name any brands, but within this group, any that that sort of piqued your interest in terms of a potential investment. And again, you don't have to name any names, but
yeah, no, I to be fair to all of them, I thought they were fantastic, and every investor has a different kind of criteria and things in terms of what they're looking for, in terms of how long they want to stay in a business. I honestly think some businesses are just better. We talked a little bit with Sunday Provisions about that. Some businesses really shouldn't take and aren't really built for investment, and that's fine. You can run a profitable, good business, have friends in the industry who do that. I think some are playing in categories. Certainly you get into the RTD beverage things, or even in the snack category, that you're really seeing that those are big areas. You can really grow, and you can grow consumers that are certainly investable growth businesses that have acquirers at the end of the journey. And that's kind of the key. If you're really going to start taking money, you got to be clear on what your intention is. If you want to own it and run it for 10, 20 years, you got to then either take different kind of money or figure out how to finance it in alternative ways. But I thought we saw some investable companies, and made some notes and hope to get some samples. And it was a great cohort.
I agree, and you have been a great, excellent, fantastic. No hyperbole here, Wes. I love having you on the show. Your advice and feedback was so fantastic and so valuable to our entrepreneurs and those watching at home. So thank you so much for joining us today. Let's do it again soon, huh?
Yeah, thank you. And it's not as fun as running into you at the trade shows and everything, but we'll take this. This was really a privilege and a pleasure. And again, I think what you are doing in the community and things is just outstanding, and a real asset to big and small brands alike. So
I appreciate you saying that, Wes. Thank you so much. And thank you all for watching at home. BevNet's Elevator Talk live stream is on every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Please tune in next week. We've got some more great entrepreneurs to speak with. Signing off for our amazing co-host, Wes Crain, and our entire fantastic staff at BevNet and Nosh. I'm Ray Latif. We'll talk to you next week.